Hello, today we're going to be multiplying and dividing integers. So you'll be multiplying and dividing positives and negatives. The first thing I want to do is go over some properties. The commutative property of multiplication just says if you multiply two numbers together, it doesn't matter which order they're in. You can actually flip the order and you'll still get the same answer. The product will be the same. So the factors 6 times 5, if you switch those around, 5 times 6, no matter which way you switch them, you're going to get 30. 30 equals 30. Okay? That's the first one. The second one is the associative property of multiplication. And this just means if you multiply 3 and then you have in parentheses 6 times 2, you're associating those two together first and then multiplying by that. You're going to get the same answer if you multiply the first two numbers and then the last one. So let's look and see if it's true. We always do from PEMDAS. P stands for parentheses. 6 times 2 is 12. We know 3 times 12 is 36. In this case, 3 times 6 is 18. 18 times 2 is 36. So that's the associative property of multiplication. The next one, multiplication identity property. That just says that if you multiply anything by 1, you can switch it around, but it doesn't matter. 1 times 7, 7 times 1. Anything multiplied by 1 is always going to be itself. If I multiplied x by 1, I'm going to get x. And then we have, this is a major property in algebra, the distributive property, okay? We'll be using this with variables. Variables are just letters that stand for numbers like x and y. But in this case, since we haven't really hit variables yet, I'm going to show you what it means with numbers. So the distributive property, when you have a number sitting outside a set of parentheses, you need to take that number and distribute it to each thing inside the parentheses, and you will get the same number as if you just multiplied it. So what does that mean? Let's just look at the left side. 2 plus 5 in the parentheses, if I add those together, I can get 7. 3 times 7 is 21. Okay, on this side, this shows you that you can take the 3 and distribute it to each number and add together the results of what, the products of what you distributed. So I'm going to do 3 times 2, plus 3 times 5, 3 times 5. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 3 times 5 is 15, and I still get 21. We did do this in class last year. So that is a huge thing in algebra. We will do that a lot. Okay, the zero property of multiplication just means if you multiply something by 0, you're going to get 0. Or if I multiply a variable by 0, x times 0, I'm going to get 0. Okay, so we're going to talk about multiplying and dividing integers. Those properties that we just went over, I do want those to be written out in your notebook, as well as multiplying and dividing integers. And this is in sections 1, 5, and 1, 6. We are going to do 2 sections together because they're so much alike. This is from pages 20 to 25. When multiplying or dividing, I forgot to write or dividing, but when multiplying or dividing two numbers with the same sign, so if you have two positives, the product is going to be positive. Same thing with a division. If you're dividing two numbers that are two positives, you're going to end up with a positive answer. If you have two numbers that are negative, whether you multiply or divide them, when they're multiplied together or divided, it's going to be positive. Okay, so I'm going to show you some examples in a minute. If the signs are opposite and you're multiplying or dividing, the answer will always be negative. Okay, so same signs, you get the answer in positive. Different signs, you get the answer in negative. Let's look and see what I'm talking about. You have a positive 4 times 3. You know that 4 times 3 is 12. It's positive. Notice those are the same signs. Here, you have a negative 7 times a negative 2. The same signs. Negative 7 times negative 2 is actually a positive 14. Okay, because the same signs, I get positive. Here's 2 more same signs. 8 divided by 2, positive 8, positive 2. The answer is going to be positive 4. Oops, what happens here? Number 4, negative 15 divided by negative 3. 2 negatives divided by each other equal a positive. The answer is positive 5. Okay, number 5. Now I'm going to have some different signs. Negative 12 divided by 4 equals negative 3. Notice the signs are different. It's going to be negative. Negative 16 divided by 2, the signs are different. The answer is negative 8. Negative 9 times 2. A negative and a positive multiplied together is a negative. Negative 18. 4 times a negative 5, two different signs. Positive 4 times negative 5 is a negative 20. You are going to be doing both sections up through section C. On pages 20 through 25, you're going to do the multiplying integers, all the problems through section C, and the dividing integers, all the problems through section C. Okay? Have a wonderful day. I will see you in class.